Hey guys, I guess, hey, even if I don't feel the best today, you gotta keep up appearances, I guess, yeah. You guys with the title probably, I'll explain later, I guess, you'll see. Guys, sorry if this video is gonna seem scatterbrained, but anyways, MCU predictions, I guess, am I gonna call this? Probably. MCU predictions, I'm probably gonna call it. But, okay, but this is more just like fan fiction, I guess. So I guess we might as well start off with what I want to do for Captain America 4. This is what I would do. Because in case you don't know, somehow and you've been living under a rock for a bit, the MCU's kind of changed a bit. A lot of people don't really like it and they've turned against it. Now, I don't really agree with this. Like, I could do a whole nother video about how the MCU, about how I think a lot of the MCU hates a little not quick, but I'm probably not gonna do that because then I have to probably do actual research. No, I'm not doing that. Yeah. Anyways, but so now let's just. So we're starting off with Captain America 4. Listen, I love Captain America. He was the hero that got. He was the hero that got me into superheroes. So I kinda on my channel him, I feel like. But let's just get into this one. Yeah, you know how this one goes. Yeah. Okay, so obviously this is gonna be focused on Hulk. So obviously I would have it so that in the end, Leto ends up being the villain and he ends up capturing Ross and he ends up turning him into the Red Hulk. It would end up becoming a big battle royale fight and a Red Hulk, and I'd have Red Hulk, and I'd have also in this movie have Hulk go savage. Now I kind of stole this from another YouTuber called Black Lion, but I think it is a good idea to have Professor Hulk because I agree with him about how it's gonna backfire. So yeah. Next up is but that overall covers my basis for that. But next up is Spider-Man 4. Now, listen. What should we do? Now, here's my opinion. I don't want Craven in Spider-Man 4. Okay, I don't think it's unrealistic that we'll have two Cravens on the same time, I feel like. Because I feel like the villain's going to be Scorpion. But you're probably like, wait, but they said an original villain, Scorpion. Well, guess what, Chuckle Nuts? Here's the thing. Scorpion we didn't really see him with his actual suit or anything, so I think he's still fair game. But I think this all come due to Kingpin having a bounty on Spider-Man's head. And I would include 3 other villains. We'd see they would all not be like the main villains, but still villains. Shocker would return, Beetle would appear, and we'd have a wacky one like Big Wheel. In the end, Spider-Man ends up defeating them and beats Kingpin near death. Yeah, now it's time for the real important one. Avengers Secret Wars. Yep, the Secret Wars. First of all, I want them both to be Avengers Secret Wars Part 1 and 2. Okay? So, yeah. So, first off, and for this one, I'm just want to talk about the deaths. First off, what characters are going to die? Now, half the Avengers are already probably gone, and I think Steve Rogers is probably going to, the old man Steve Rogers is probably going to die in Captain America New World Order. So, yeah, but I think Captain America, so anyways, I think first of all, since there's 3, I I think they're gonna keep one OG Avenger left, and I think that's gonna be Hulk. Yep. I think they're gonna kill Thor and Hawkeye. Thor, listen. I'm just gonna say this. I think Thor 5 is gonna flop. I'm sorry, but knowing how much people hated Thor Love and Thunder, I think Thor 5 is probably gonna flop, which means that'd probably give Marvel the idea to kill Thor. Next up, then Hawkeye, because, well, listen, Hawkeye, I feel like, is at this point kind of expendable, but he won't only die and instead, I'll explain what'll happen to Hawkeye later. But the reason why I would spare Hulk is because I think they're gonna probably have Hulk be a big character in the next saga, especially since we don't really have a Mark Ruffalo solo Hulk movie. So yeah, next up is yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, but next up is something absolutely insane. Next up, I think one of the Guardians is gonna die now. Let me go one by one. Star-Lord, I think, is gonna survive because I feel like they're gonna have Star-Lord be a big character in the next saga. So I think Star-Lord is gonna be spared. I think they're not gonna kill Lavender Gamora because, well, I feel like she just wouldn't make sense to kill right now. Next up, Drax. I don't even know if Drax will appear here because Dave Bautista, so maybe he'll appear, maybe he'll die, but again, since, yeah. It looks like Dave Bautista won't want to return. Probably not. Rocket, I feel like Rocket's gonna start a new saga of the Guardians movies. Probably gonna have a second Guardians trilogy, if I were to guess. And then Mantis, I feel like Mantis will also not appear in Avengers Secret Wars. Finally, and I mean finally, is Adam Warlock. And I think Adam Warlock's gonna be spared. But actually, there's one I skipped. Groot, because I think he's gonna be the one who's killed. Groot, because, well, I think there's no more to go with the adult Groot. And you only need to, put that much into Groot, I feel like. He could be a very minor death, I think. Next up, I think Ant-Man's gonna die. Mostly because Ant-Man 4 has been canceled. So, I mean, not really canceled because it was never really even announced. So I don't even think it was canceled. It's just that it's definitely not gonna come out now. So I think because of that Ant-Man, I don't really feel like Ant-Man is gonna return, So I think he's gonna die. Since there's nowhere else to send his story, I think. Next. So that's 4. Next up, Scarlet Witch. I feel like Scarlet Witch is gonna be redeemed in the Secret Wars movies before dying. So I think she's gonna be redeemed. It's gonna be feel that she survived Multiverse of Madness because she better have survived. Because no way a bunch of locks killed the Scarlet Witch. Nah, she definitely survived that. Call it cope, but no way Scarlet Witch died to a bunch of locks. No way. Next up is, and then finally, the final one of the deaths, Loki. I think Loki, this new Loki, I don't think is going to survive that long. Especially since they're probably going to, I have a feeling that they are going to have Loki season 3. But I think that's going to be the final seasons of Loki. Next up is one very, very, very interesting one. Yeah. Now there's one outlier. What about Captain Marvel? I don't think Captain Marvel is gonna die. I think instead Captain Marvel is gonna be the poster child of the Avengers, and she'll become the big Avengers person. Okay, next up, there were 6 deaths, obviously, but how would I do that? So first off is Loki. One minor death, I guess, and I think this isn't that much of a surprise. This is where Groot will die. Thanos will just well, no, not Thanos. Again, but I think, I'm just gonna say it now. I think Secret Wars is gonna end with the Fantastic Four coming back to the main universe, because I don't think the Fantastic Four is gonna be set in the same universe. I think it's gonna be in its own universe, in a universe where the Fantastic Four were created in the 60s. Next up, the X-Men. The X-Men will... I'd have the X-Men be the mutant. So the X-Men would be created, and I'd have Kang's porno villain be the Beyonder. They would both create Secret Wars. And then as a gang, they would end up deciding, no, and then Beyonder would probably kill Kang, becoming the true villain. I don't think Doctor Doom is going to be there, because I don't even think Doctor Doom is going to be the villain Fantastic Four. I think it's way more likely that it's going to be Galactus. So, yeah. Okay, next up, yeah. And so, also I think Spider-Man is going to get the symbiote suit. Anyways, so Groot's going to be a minor death. He'll probably try and go against them, but then it will be immediately incinerated. And I'd also have the battle will be kind of like a parody of reality shows, kinda. You know, a Marvel version of a reality show, except it's a reality movie, I guess. Next up is a Gamora death, which happens midway through the first one, to kind of be pretty important, and I give that to Ant-Man. What I'd do is that I'd have Ant-Man end up Kang and the Beyonder would forcibly cause Ant-Man to become so big that his bones would break, and then they would put him out of his misery. Next up, I'm gonna have it so, and then finally the final death of the first part. I'm gonna give that one to Loki. I think he's gonna die at the beginning of that, and I think Loki will end up helping Kang when Beyonder tries to take over, but Loki and Kang would both fail, so they would both be killed. Next up, I would have it so... Okay, so I'd have midway through the second part, Scarlet Witch dies. She would have a more heroic death, and since she would be redeemed. Next up, the big sacrifice Thor. The entire multiverse is ending, so Thor sacrifices himself. And I'd have Hawkeye in this new universe be a bit of an old man who was a main hero like the 60s, so he'd be now an old man. Okay? So, yeah, that's it. Okay, guys, I guess I'll make this one brief. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'm tired, so bye, I guess.